Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for joining tonight. So tonight we will be doing an online live coding music performance and artist talk titled Talking and Music Making Circles on Decoloniality and Software. My name is Christina and I am Factory Media Center's administrator. Before we begin, I would like to take the time to acknowledge that the land of present-day Hamilton is situated on the shared ancestral lands of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabeg, including the Mississaugas of the New Credit First Nation. This land is covered by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, which was an agreement between the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabeg to peacefully share, care, and preserve the resources around the Great Lakes for years to come. As a community not-for-profit artist-run center, Factory Media Center is committed to active, ongoing reconciliation in collaboration with Indigenous peoples in our community. If you also are interested in getting involved in this work, one way is to check out what is currently going on at 1492 Landback Lane, where Indigenous land is currently being aggressively developed by a condo company. It's about 20 minutes away from Hamilton for reference. Land defenders are currently collecting donations to help towards bail funds and occasionally ask for donations of supplies. Right now, specifically, they were in need of monetary donations for land defender Skylar Williams' legal fees. A link to donate will be pasted in the YouTube chat if you're able. If you haven't heard of Factory Media Center before, we are a media arts center located in Hamilton, Ontario. We host exhibitions, screenings, provide multimedia equipment, studio space, and workshops for artists and independent filmmakers. If you want to get involved with Factory, there's a couple different opportunities available to you right now. There is our annual members screening coming up. The deadline to submit is November 10th, and we will accept and screen all video and audio pieces under 15 minutes. And then there is also another residency opportunity in January, February, and March, and the deadline to apply for that opportunity is December 10th. Before we get into tonight's program, I would like to thank our operating funders for making Factory's events possible. Thank you to the Insight Foundation for the Arts, the City of Hamilton, the Ontario Arts Council, and the Canada Council for the Arts. Thank you for making our programs possible and supporting tonight's event. So tonight's live stream is currently going to YouTube. If you have any questions or comments for the presenters, please put them in the chat and we will have a short Q&A session at the end. Now, finally, Louis was Factory Media Center's remote artist in residence from August to October. Our residency program is an opportunity for artists and creators to utilize the space and resources at Factory Media Center to produce a new work or continue developing a body of work. In the case of the pandemic closures, we used our platform to highlight Louis' PhD research. Throughout the residency, Louis hosted a series of meetings titled Talking and Music Making Circles on Decoloniality and Software, intended to discuss alternative ways of thinking about electronic music software within Latin America and its diasporas. Louis is a student in New Media and Cultural Studies at McMaster University, and his research is about creating a computer music software inflected by Latin American musical expressions derived from political resistance and opposition. He expects this software to be an ideology critique of the dominant computer making world. Louis' project intends to connect knowledge and practice from interdisciplinary fields of critical code studies, new interfaces for musical expression, live coding, and Latin American musicology with decolonial approaches of broader thinking and participatory action research. So Louis has been working with a team of collaborators, and they have been meeting each week since August to investigate alternative ways of thinking about electronic music software within Latin America and its diasporas. I'm going to hand it off to Louis and his team. They are Tania, Gabriel, Jessica, and Andreas, and they will be performing a live coding music performance for about 15 to 20, 25-ish minutes. And right after that, we will head right on into a collaborative artist talk. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to Louis. Let's get started.
Thanks so much, Christina. Thank you. So we just are going to switch to a platform that is called Estuary, and we will start with the performance. And after that, as you're saying, we will have a chat with you. So we're going just to switch to Estuary. Hi, everyone. So that was our performance. I hope you enjoy it. We had some technical problems with the Zoom call from where we were streaming, but we decided to give you a bit more, a couple more of minutes of our music to make up for what happened. So I think we're waiting for the other Tania and Gabriel and Andres to come back to the meeting because our Zoom call just crashed. So yes, I'm not sure if Christina, would you like to say something, or Jessica?
That was incredible. I don't know, I'm just in awe. I'm excited to hear you guys talk about it and talk about how you all came together and, you know, have been working on this for so long. It's been a long time coming for me to observe. So I don't know, I'm just starstruck.
Yes, absolutely. And so also I want to, thank you to the Factory Media Center. Maybe I can start by, while we are waiting for the other people, just to thank you to the Factory Media Center and also to Christina. You have been so kind to me. Yeah, it was so nice to, this is the first time I'm doing residency, I think ever. I have given workshops before, but this is the first time I'm an artist in residence. And also it was a bit challenging here in Hamilton because as you were saying, I'm a PhD student. I just came here 4 years ago, and this is the first time I'm engaging directly with in a space. So thank you. And also I would like to thank you to Jessica, who was streaming this, who is streaming this event, and who was also performing. So that was, I think, challenging. So thank you so much. And also to the participants of the circles. One thing important to say is that the people who are here with here in the conversation is not the only people who were participating in these talking circles. So there is more people. It's just some of them couldn't make it today, and yeah. So, but yeah, also thank you to them, and hopefully they are watching. And we will have another opportunity to also do public performances and public talks with them. So I think Tania and Gabriel are back.
Hola, sí, sin querer me desconecté. Zoom. Hi, everyone.
Welcome. Thank you so much for that performance. It was incredible.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, it was really fun. I was, it feels weird doing it from home, but it was fun anyway.
Yeah, sorry for the technical problems. I was setting this meeting, yeah, like 3 hours, for 3 hours, and then something happened and everything was just messed up. Yeah, but it was great. I don't know if you want to talk about a little bit more about the circle that we were in, what was the activity about, or I can share some things, but I don't know if you want to say something.
I think the floor is yours. So we would like to know what the process was of making music on the estuary platform together. How much of the circles were, talking, and how much of them were music making, or anything else you would like to share that's important to our understanding of the project. I'll let you guys start, and then I'm sure there's going to be a significant back and forth. And I'll keep checking the chat to include our viewers as well. I'm just going to mute myself so you can get the floor.
Absolutely. I was just wondering, maybe just before jumping to your question, Christina, I was thinking maybe Tania and Gabriel want to introduce themselves, and also Jessica.
Yes, that'd be great. Cool. Jessica, would you like to go first?
Yes, hi. So, yeah, I'm Jessica. I'm living here in Hamilton, but I'm originally from Mexico, a city called Uruapan. So I'm a visual artist, and I'm also been exploring with sound. And what else? I'm doing a PhD here at McMaster. So, yeah, that's the reason why I'm here, and it's great to be here.
And you were saying that also you can speak in Spanish or so.
I'm Tania. I'm a composer mostly. I live in Morelia. I'm pretty close to Uruapan. And yes, I'm Mexican too. I'm a cellist too, and now I'm studying music and technology. I like, yes, like the bonds between technology and the arts.
Hi everyone, my name is Gabriel and I prefer to talk in Spanish because it's my native language. So I hope you don't don't bother any people. Pues sí, soy de Ciudad de México, vivo en Morelia, Michoacán. Estoy estudiando también con Tania, ya casi terminando la universidad, estudiando música y tecnología. Y pues, sí, parte por la que llegué a este círculo es por la reflexión de las diferentes o distintas perspectivas que podemos llegar a tener sobre lo que construimos como realidad. Y eso, un saludo a todos y gracias por el espacio.
Thank you so much. So Gabriel was saying that he's also living in Morelia and he's studying music and technology as well. And he was interested in these talking circles because of he was interested in reflecting how we construct reality, and I guess also real. I think also maybe you were also talking about the how we construct artifacts or like technology. Am I correct?
Yeah, you're correct, Luis.
Great. So yeah, so maybe does anyone want to go over the question that Christina was saying?
I just want to say before starting is that there was also Andres was also in the ensemble now that we were playing, and he's living here in Hamilton. So he couldn't be here in this second section of the talk, but he was participating, playing some instruments, and also he was the one that it was writing in Spanish. Maybe I can come back to what he was writing later when we touch certain subjects.
And so, Christina, I think you were asking about how much we were using estuary on our talking circles, right?
Yeah, I'm interested to know the process. Like how much time did you guys get to know each other before you started collaborating? Did you just jump right into the coding right away, or were the first couple of sessions learning how to work together in the best type of way?
Yeah, maybe I can speak a bit about that because of it's like a kind of the methodology. So yeah, so maybe I'll take just some like 5 minutes to explain why in these talking circles and the methodology that where I proposed for the residency. So as you were saying, Christina, these circles are part of my PhD research, which you already explained. Thank you so much. And basically, the idea was to, in the process of building this software or this programming language that you just heard and saw, which is kind of based on the language on Spanish, basically. On the process of doing so, I was interested in also knowing other people's thoughts in terms of the music that this language was going to produce, and then also the syntax itself and the the grammars, etc. Because of the different Spanish variations that you can find in the world. So just because what I'm trying to do here is like to make something, like to go from something so like universal, which are the programming languages, into something more specific, but also within that specificity, we also have yeah, like specific nuances, right? Like the difference between the words among the different countries in Latin America and the different people, and also other things get involved in that specific, in the syntax and the sound, which is, things such as gender, ethnicity, race, and class. So that's why I wanted to talk with people. So I decided to do these talking circles, which in terms of the methodology is I basically put a call and kind of random people just joined, which was nice. So we some of us, we didn't have much connection before. So yeah, one of the first meetings, it was like from the beginning, we were just starting to know more about each other, and basically the methodology was that during the circles, anyone could speak and express their experiences in regards to technology, and in this case also to music, and their thoughts in terms of how do they feel that music and technology relates with again, issues of gender, race, ethnicity, from their particular perspectives and social position. So that was basically the methodology. I don't know if someone else wants to jump and talk about.
Yes, I think it was fun to play, but mostly what got me to the circles is the chance to talk about these topics, because as it's expected, I'm always studying stuff about programming and music and technologies, but I don't have the chance that often to talk about these things, about race or where I come from or what it's like to be a woman in music. So I really needed to talk to someone about this. So it was a relief to find the circles and talk with so many people from so many places. And we talked so much, like hours and hours, and then we had the chance to play. But I think that it works because we know each other this way, like all the questioning we are having. So when we play, it just fits because it's like we have a common place there.
Yeah, I think, yeah, the same as Tania. Like, because, yeah, we were like having these circles on Thursdays with different people from Latin America. And then we're having these circles on Saturday that at the beginning it was just people from here, from Hamilton, in which, for example, we met Andres. At the beginning, in these other circles in the Hamilton, we had the opportunity to talk about identity here in Canada, and some like just realizing that we share like certain kind of experiences, because obviously, like, we are privileged. We are living a privilege because we are living here in Canada instead of, for example, in Mexico, which has more problems with security and with drug dealers and all these underfunding also. Um, so it's kind of like we're living here, but we are also attached at the same time because our families are still living there, and how those like that involves. So yeah, it was nice to talk. we kind of like joke that it was how do you say this, when you come to this like to these meetings, that they help you, they kind of like psychologically help you, because you kind of like just say all your problems and everything. Support group. Yeah.
It sounds like they were very intimate, since you're meeting weekly, right? So you must have got to know each other really well. Did you all have a background in coding? Like, did you all have an understanding of it before getting together? I see some heads nodding.
Yes, I think there was too many people there, and not everyone, but at least the ones that are here right now, yes, we all had some background in coding.
And something that I found interesting is that in one of the first meetings, we have someone was telling us that, anyways, yeah, sorry. So the residency was, I framed the residency around the idea of software, because I wasn't sure how many people were going to come, because it was like if it was explicitly about coding. So I just framed it about software, and it's also something that I'm interested in exploring, like the idea of software as like not only programming languages. But one of the things that was interesting is that one person was saying that sometimes when they use programming languages, people tell them that programming languages are not software. So that was like, oh, okay. So I don't know. It was a bit strange.
Yes, I remember that talk, and it was so interesting. We started talking about open source and all these topics, and I remember there was like the artist perspective, like me, like, oh no, like the open source is like the best thing ever, and it's all peace and love. And then there was this guy that I think it was kind of an engineer, something like that. I can't remember, and he was like, not really. So it was really nice to talk to people from different areas, because you could see different perspectives of what you thought it was the truth, but it wasn't at all.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to head over to the chat to see if we have any comments or questions before we keep going. We have a lot of hearts, a lot of excited messages. Okay, so I have a question about the music itself. Do you record the samples, or are they produced on the system?
So I can say something, or I don't know if Jessica, you would like to say something? Okay.
No, maybe you can say something in very general, and then we can kind of share how we were playing our instruments in this performance.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm sorry I have the my video. I'm sorry I'm not showing my video. It's just my computer got very slow. But anyways, yeah. So this language that you saw is working inside of software that runs online that is called Estuary, and that's like a project where Jessica, myself, and other people such as Alejandro Franco and my supervisor David Ogburn are working on. So it's like basically kind of an text editor, but it has more. Anyways, so that yeah, it basically right. Yeah, it could do both. Like in Estuary, you can have languages that do synthesis, so they are produced by the computer. But you can also have programming languages that use samples, so like pre-recorded material. In our case, we were using pre-recorded material, and that's an interesting question, because due to COVID, I wasn't able to record go somewhere and record people for the the samples. So what I did is I was using some of my own recordings that I had from before, and also some downloaded from freesounds.org under the license, under the public domain license.
That's a really interesting point about how COVID impacted your research, because when you and I were speaking for the first time, it was like in mid-March or mid-April, and I wasn't sure if this project was developed to happen completely remotely. And it sounds like it wasn't. Was there anything else that was changed other than the lack of live music? Like, were you hoping the circles would take place in person? Because it seems like the success of this program is that you've connected with people all over the world. I'm not sure if I communicated that in a way that's easy to answer. I asked like a few questions. I'll just let you answer, and then we can talk some more.
Yes, well, at the beginning, Luis was going to make this like a circle here at the factory, like physically at the factory, and meet there. And there was going to be another one in Colombia, in Medellin, but like also another one that was going to be online. And I don't know, the online experience is really nice. I don't know if Gabriel and Tania want to share something about their experience, and also sharing their own work and talking to even more about talking to other people. But I don't know, like sometimes when you meet online, you don't have that rapport with people, and yeah, it's difficult to connect. But I don't know, with these circles, I found it like really easy just to talk to people and just to share our fears or dreams and everything. So I don't know if Gabriela and Tania want to say something more.
Yes, I'm always afraid that things are not gonna be the same in all the things I'm doing now virtually, and I didn't know what to expect from the circles. But yes, it felt like we were with friends, I guess. And I'm thinking that maybe if this wasn't the case, I would have never met Jessica, for example. Like, I'm really glad thing turns out this way, because yeah, I had a chance to talk to people I wouldn't in a different circumstance. So it feels weird as always, but I think we just managed to find a connection.
Sí, hola. Yo justo no sabía qué esperar del círculo cuando vi como algún como anuncio de las charlas, y cuando entré justo me encontré, como dice Tania y Jessica, amigos, ¿no? Dentro, y eso se me hizo como muy chido, ¿no? Como compartir un espacio que también te permitiera como conocer más personas, pero que justo se proponen reflexionar sobre ciertas cuestiones, ¿no? Que suceden como en el cotidiano, y suceden cosas bien interesantes. Yo concuerdo mucho con lo que mencionan Jessica y Tania.
I can translate super quick, and then I would like to connect this with something. Gabriel was saying that at first he didn't know what to expect when joining the circles, but then he found, friends and like people to share some ideas, and he find interesting to, he felt good about knowing people who were sharing some of the concerns, and were reflecting around some of the of his same again, concerns or questions in regards to technology. So yes, in my case, this is one of the more motivating things that I found in the circles. So you have to know, like the public has to know that these circles again are coming from a PhD project, so they are coming from an institution, and so that's sometimes represents some constraints, right, in terms of who is going to get credited. Well, Luis is going to be credited because of the research, like it's an individual process, etc. And also, like during the process of doing, like I have to go through an ethics approval process by the university. And so one of the things that they made me put in the information letter was that there wasn't going to be any direct, benefit for the participants, which I found, oh my God, no one is going to join. And then I just realized that, yeah, absolutely, there's no direct benefit. But in the end, I think people were enthusiastic about the circles and the space itself, which also made me more enthusiastic and more motivated. Is yeah, we are, maybe they are not getting a degree, but they are, like, we are all together learning from each other, and also sharing this space and meeting and building community. So I think that was an important part.
Yeah, thank you for sharing all of that. I don't want to focus too much on the pandemic, but it seems like you guys have such a core group. Like it seems like these circles came at a really good time when people were seeking connection with one another. There's more comments from the chat I would like to share. So Harold has shared, something about the live quality makes it transcend particulars of web audio. It feels very relatable and very human. And a couple people agreed with him. It does sound alive. That was what I was most surprised by when I was watching. Kian has said, I am so curious to see how Persian music can potentially be performed like this with its quarter notes and great performance. Okay, and we have another question from the chat. What kinds of cultural assumptions are embedded in the structure of the programming language?
I don't know if Jessica, you would like to say something in relation to the to how it sounded alive, because you were going to say something about the instruments.
Yes, I think at the beginning, yeah, on Saturday there was another woman that was part of the circles, and she was saying that, kind of like asking, how much do you lose when you use, for example, programming languages to play music instead of instruments? Does that make it more mechanic instead of like being something that is connected with the body? And I was kind of like also telling her that, yeah, it's true. I think you lose something that you don't have with real instruments, well, not real instrument, I'm gonna say that, with traditional instruments, when you play them and you have them like around your body and everything. And this is more in the computer, but yeah, I think there's also like a possibility in which it is still connected with the body, and basically in this case, in the most like superficial layer or the most general layer, it's about the kind of music that you're also playing. And in relation to Luis's project, I was kind of like analyzing it, because he says that it's based on cumbia, but I say that is based on cumbia sonidera, which is very it's kind of like different because the cumbia obviously comes from Colombia and is played with live instruments. But then in Mexico, there's this variation, which is the cumbia sonidera, and it is played through like kind of like DJing, and they play with the tempo. They make it like usually it's is much more slower, and basically they just play records and mix them together. And that's kind of like, even if you have kind of like a DJ or something that is behind the console in these sonideros, which are usually in the street, they're just like random things that the people like just build in the street, and there's kind of like a big dance or something. People are still enjoying, even if they don't see instruments there, people are still dancing. So I think it's related with the music, how the music that you play and the way you play it, it can be related to the body again, even though obviously when you play it, you're playing it with the computer. So it has, obviously it has some ups and downs. Usually when people play in the computer, people laugh about them because you're so serious just playing the computer and just like not moving while you're actually playing something that you have to move. um, so yeah, so I think that's uh, one of the challenges, just to remember that, okay, you're playing with the computer, you're playing with programming languages, but that doesn't mean that you cannot dance while you're writing or something. I don't know if it makes sense what I said.
Yeah, I think comparing it to playing cello, it's almost the same. It feels like just an instrument I'm learning now, but it's like the same process as it's played by humans and it's made by humans. Is like same logic. So I would say it feels kind of the same.
And now that you were speaking, I remember that, Tania, you, I think last Saturday, you were saying that when you play the cello, you are like much more concentrated because you have to kind of like move your arms in certain ways, and with playing the computer is a little bit more like you feel like freer. I don't know how to say that. You feel more free just because you don't have to worry about certain things and just focus on the sound or the music.
Yes, I think it depends on the tool because there are tools that are really hard to play. But yes, like I was comparing it to dance. I like to dance too. And when I'm doing some, ¿cómo se dice? Improvisar?
Station.
Improvisation. When I improvise with dancing, it feels like there are no limits between what I'm feeling and what I'm doing because I don't need to control that much because it's direct. And when I'm playing the cello, it's harder because there's some technique I need to have there, and I need to be careful where are the notes, where is my hand, and so my head gets all filled with all this information and I can't really connect with my emotions and what I'm doing. And I think with the computer, when the language is kind of easy, like in this case, that is really easy to understand, then I can be focused on what I'm listening to and what I want to do and not be that concerned about if I'm doing it right or getting worried if something is going wrong.
A mí me gustaría mencionar algo que justo en esa línea, que se me hace, que es gracioso, porque yo que también vengo de tocar instrumentos, justo también hay como esta capa del instrumento que dices, Tania, sobre que tienes que pensar en cosas para que esté bien. Hay muchas cosas que también en la compu, aunque ya sean como inconscientes como manejar, también tenemos, o sea, pensamos, ¿no? Por ejemplo, con ahorita el streaming, que estaba haciendo Jessica, pensar en un montón de cosas que necesitan estar, ¿no? Y que después el lenguaje mismo te puede decir que tienes un error de sintaxis, ¿no? O sea, siento que también hay como varias cosas que como que implican, ¿no? Que a veces también no te, sí, o sea, que te implican como una manera de aproximarte, ¿no? También, y que te requieren como a veces de, no sé, al principio posiblemente de más atención que otras, ¿no? Como cuando dominas, no, es como manejar, ¿no? Que a veces prestas mucha atención y después ya lo haces innato. No sé. Pero también pienso que a veces es como, me ha pasado que es un aproximamiento diferente, ¿no? También una lógica diferente a interpretar un instrumento en la computadora, más como programación, a tocar un instrumento, pues, físico. Siento que, pues, o sea, que son como lógicas que vamos como desarrollando, o no sé.
Sí, sí, o sea, justo, o sea, creo que lenguajes, por ejemplo, con Super Collider no podría hacer esto jamás, ¿no? O sea, no podría hacerlo ágilmente. Pero especialmente con este me siento muy cómoda porque hay pocos parámetros y sobre de eso puedo hacer variantes y entonces ya solo estoy atenta a lo que escucho, pero sí, o sea, sí coincido en que hay cosas que es, o sea, que es mucho más demandante que incluso un instrumento físico.
So if you're okay, I can translate a bit. So Gabriel says that he finds funny also to, well, he also plays with instruments, and he mentions that there is also a layer about the instrument, which is similar to the computer in the sense that you have to think what is good practice and what is not. And so he's just, and so he's also mentioning that there are different aspects and affordances of computer languages that made easier or more hard to approach them. But in the end, he kind of makes a conclusion saying that it's similar to driving in the sense that once you get, you know how to drive, then it could be like easier to either interpret, the computer or an instrument. And Tania was also mentioning that Tania was saying, I'm aware about that, and also the language. It's interesting because Tania, you were comparing these to the programming language Super Collider, which is a very known and very used programming language that is used, by artists and also by researchers in the universities, etc. And you were saying, oh, you know what, like this language we were playing with, the Cumbia one, was easier because it has fewer parameters. And with Super Collider, which is like more, I guess, broad or maybe even more universal, you were saying, yeah, we with that one, it could have taken me more time to do something more like similar to what we were doing today, right? And I guess this connects a bit with the question you were, I think Kian was asking, in terms of, or someone else, I think, in terms of, you were asking about Persian music and also about the cultural aspects that go into computation. I have some thoughts, but I don't know if someone wants to ask, answer any of those, like the cultural assumptions embedded in programming languages or how you could do Persian music with programming languages. I don't know if someone wants to answer.
Well, I just want to say something really short. I think the biggest cultural assumption is that programming languages are neutral. And that's something that we have to realize, that anything it's neutral. It has different kind of biases, and I don't know, for me it's better to think about everything we do, it's linked with the cultural environment of the people that design and apply that design into like an object, if it's digital or physical, is the same. So yeah.
Yes, just like a few classes ago, my teacher, I think he said something about that the code being in English, and he was like, "It's in English. Just assume it. Like it's gonna be this way. So then you start questioning what else is in a different language or in a different culture or understandings. But I think, and it's kind of sad, but I think as a Latin American, you just get used to that nothing is made exactly for you. So you just have to learn everything from everyone.
Yeah, and in terms of yes, as you were saying also, so one of the cultural aspects that we can see right away, as Tania was saying, is they are like programming languages are most of the times derived from English. So I have had this conversation with my supervisor many times, and yeah, he points out that yeah, it's of course not a a continuous language such as the one that we are speaking right now. So it's not exactly English, but the way I frame it is, well, it's kind of, it's kind of derived from English, right? And so one of the first things I wanted to do is just for people maybe, and for myself as well, to ask or to notice, some of the cultural aspects embedded in programming languages was to build something in Spanish, because that's my native language. So that's, yeah. So in that sense, and maybe connecting that to the Persian music is, well, so there could be a Persian language, a programming language, right? I'm not sure if there exists. I don't know. It exists other languages, such as one that is in Arabic. So that, yeah, so that's a way to see the cultural. So I think language, how it's written, and if it is written in a different, human language, you can, like people and myself can, start to see that there is a culture embedded there. And this is coming from the idea that sometimes we think that programming languages are based on a kind of logic, could be mathematic or could be, linguistic or computational, that is not movable. So anyways, yeah, I have discovered I'm investigating other, like concepts that go around programming languages and also in artificial intelligence, such as awareness. So it's like, what are we thinking in terms of, what is to be aware? So I know that indigenous, I don't want to generalize, of course, but like I have read a bit in terms of indigenous cultures, which have a different understanding of awareness. Also, what is immediacy? And also another cultural aspect is modularity, which is like this idea of segmenting or having different files, basically, in that altogether build a programming language. And there is and software in general. And there is a scholar, like a feminist scholar, that is called Tara. I think it's Tara McPherson. No, I think it's Tara McPherson. Yes, and she talks about how the Unix platform, which is the one that is the one where Linux and Mac are built on. Originally, when it was developed, I think in the 50s or 60s, probably in the 60s, she theorizes how the issues happening in terms of the civil rights in the United States were influencing developers, not specifically in a good way, but more in a more bad way in terms of modularity, which basically one of the ideas she points out of modularity is that you have separate files in order to be able to debug or correct the different files without messing up with the whole system, right? And so, yeah, so that's a culture embedded there. And also, basically, programming languages, one of the origins is that like military ones and then capitalist ones, right? Like they are made to produce something. So those could be some cultural assumptions embedded in programming languages and the building of programming languages.
Well, I will, sorry, I would like to add something. Kind of like reframe it, the question, like a cultural assumption about how to decolonize programming language is that you just change language, right? Just by changing from English to Spanish, then it's just like that way you're decolonizing. But yeah, so that's not true, because obviously Spanish is also a language, a colonizer language, the same as English. Obviously, English is capitalist like, too. So it's not just that; it's also everything that is behind the functions that we use to program.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the reasons I wanted to start doing this more in terms of the collective, like doing this with the circles and, you know, incorporating people or like not incorporating, but like connecting with people to, because yes, absolutely. And so that's why these circles are called decolonial in terms of, so decolonial super quickly is like I took it in the sense of the colonial authors mentioned that beyond or after colonization, there was a legacy of you know, ways of thinking that is called sometimes colonialism, which incorporates, you know, patriarchy, capitalism, etc. And so they were just in the 90s, they were in the 90s, they were saying, oh, you know what, like colonialism is connected to capitalism and to, you know, economic development in a very, you know, extreme way, etc. And patriarchy. So they were just like pointing out that there was this connection, this connection. And so they were saying, oh, we have to be aware of you know, these modes of thinking, and in order to stop reproducing oppression, etc. And so the colonial in this sense is different to the colonization in that the colonial is more about the not necessarily like an independence or like on tag from the nation necessarily, but is more like you know, reflecting on the ideas and legacies that colonization left. So which in this case took the in our circles took the shape of conversation about, again, gender, race, ethnicity, and also challenging sometimes those same categories, or like reflecting at least in some of those categories.
Okay, thank you, everybody. I'm in between Zoom and the chat to see if we have any last questions or comments. We have a lot of congratulations and thank yous. And one saying, this has been so interesting and entertaining. Thank you everyone for the great performance and conversation. We have about 5 minutes left. Would everybody in the chat like to you know, give us some last words, let us know where we can find you, like if you have an individual art practice or music practice outside of the circles that you would like to share with our audience, please do so. There's no pressure to, though. And yeah, let's start with Jessica first, and then we'll go from there.
Well, yeah, I don't know how to
I put you on the spot, sorry.
Yes, so yeah, I think it was great. The experience, I already say that for me was a way to just share everything that I was feeling during COVID also, and just learn about a lot of people that are doing different things, and just so yeah, so it was great. I don't know what else, but I don't know, like kind of like the way of ending is like answering this question, like what drew me to these circles, and it was just because I had to help Luis at the beginning. But then it was very nice just to be there. Like on Thursday, it was very late, the circles, and I was very tired, but when I started like listening to everyone and all the interesting comments, I was like waking up. So yeah. And thanks for listening at the beginning also.
Tania, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I don't know, I'm just grateful with Jessica and Luis for the opportunity to talk about all this stuff that is really important, and to everyone who participated and taught me so much, and you for the space for playing. And yeah, that's all. Thank you to everyone.
Gabriel, would you like to go next?
Ya, pues también agradecerte, Luis, por la invitación, a Jessica también por los círculos. También espero que les haya gustado a todos el jam. Yo llegué tarde a los círculos, pero no tuvimos muchas veces muchas oportunidades de tocar, pero pues, no sé, siempre era emocionante también tocar, además de charlar. Y también puedo compartir un link por el chat, si Cristina lo quiere compartir por YouTube o así, del último proyecto que hice y de un proyectillo de música que tengo también. Saludos a todos.
So super quick. Gabriel is just saying thank you and for the circles, and I hope you have enjoyed the performance. And he was saying that he arrived a bit late to the circles. So as we were saying at the beginning, it started almost the last week of August, and then it ran all through September and October. But the idea of the circles was also one of the parts of the methodology was that people could, join once if they wanted, and then never come back, or joins all the sessions or whatever. And so Gabriel was one of those. He joined, I think, in the middle at the beginning of October. So he wasn't there for all the different topics that we were discussing. But he still enjoyed it, and he wants to share a link that is going to live here on Zoom. And so he was saying that if you want to share it, Christina, it would be nice, like in the YouTube. Yeah, it's a link pointing to one of his works. And for me, I would like also to thank you, and thank you again to Jessica, and also thank you to Irene, who was also helping me in some of the meetings, and to all the people who were, again, who are still participating in the circles, because we are going to have, so there was two groups, one on Thursdays and one on Saturdays. For the Thursdays one, it was supposed to happen at this time, so we moved our last session to next week. And one important thing to say is that, again, going back to the university thing, is that because everything, like they recommended me to everything be confidential, I wasn't able to necessarily, I wasn't able to share all their names because of, like, there was a conflict about, things that we were saying there, and then potentially identification with people, etc. So yeah, that was one of the most challenging parts in terms of, again, I'm working with people. I don't want to steal their thoughts or anything, but I also don't want to compromise our confidentiality, etc. So all the people, I just want to say, all the people who are from those circles, thank you so much for being there. You actually created this space. I wasn't sure, this is the first time I'm doing this type of research, and I wasn't sure how it was going to go, and you made it happen. So thank you so much. And thank you so much to Christina as well.
Okay.
And sorry, I just want to thank again to Andrés. Was also playing with us at the beginning, and I just want to say, like, really fast, that he was kind of like just also writing about extractivism, some words about extractivism, and also just awareness for the missing murder of women in Latin America, but also I want to say that here with Indigenous women in Canada.
Thank you.
So you were saying something about sharing our links. I don't want to speak for Jessica or anything, but she's also doing a research that connects with programming languages, and among other different things, one of her pieces is about enforced disappearance in, I think, in Mexico, and how that connects with programming languages. So yeah, I think in this sense, everything is very connected. So anyways, and she was sharing also this research on our circles, which was great.
Yes, I think Jessica has gone ahead and put some of the links in our chat, our public chat, which is great. So everybody can take a look at the team's personal projects there. I feel like I got a handle on moderating in the last 5 minutes. So thank you all for, putting up with me stumbling along during this artist talk. I really enjoyed listening to you four talk, and thank you for sharing this vulnerable, intimate project with everybody, because even if you didn't intend it to be, the meetings obviously were quite important emotionally, it seems, and we can definitely see that by how seamlessly you were able to work together. And I know that the circles are ending, but I hope that you guys continue to work together, because you're an incredible team. I think that's all I have. Thank you again. So definitely check out their work. If you have any questions for the team after we say goodnight, get in touch with them either through their links, or you can always email me at Factory Media Center, and I'll make sure that your messages reach Louis or Jessica, Tania and Gabrielle. That's all for me. Let me just see the chat. Sorry, let me just check the chat one more time. Tongue twister. Lots of thank yous, a few hearts, a few clapping emojis. Okay. Thank you all once again. I'm gonna call it. Let's all wave. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much.
Ciao.
Ciao, thank you.